Feeling stuck? Searching for clarity? Welcome to Life in HD with me, Natalia, a podcast about clarity, self-discovery, and embracing the unique way your brain works. I'm a life coach who was late diagnosed with ADHD. Ever since, I've been on a mission to help others break free from unrealistic expectations and build a life that truly fits them. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or like you just don't fit the mold, this is a space for you. Whether you're navigating ADHD, anxiety, or just trying to break free from outdated expectations, with real conversations and practical strategies, I will help you reframe your mindset and build a life that works for you. Let's redefine success, challenge the stigma, and live a life in high definition. Ready? Let's dive in.
Wow, everyone. This is a fabulous show. I am so thrilled to introduce you to someone who has dedicated her life to help all of us understand, one, if this is you, how to be in the world and know that you may be different, but you're not less than. This is also about a story and a journey. And most of you have heard me, how should I say it? Coming out again by talking about what my challenges in life has been. So you've heard me do that. Now what's happening is we're having experts do shows like this. I want to introduce you to somebody who has dedicated not just her life, but her passion and her purpose and created an entire coaching program, NataliaLifeCoach.com. I want to introduce you to Natalia Peña. And this is about living life in high definition. Today, you'll get one of several shows that will be done to talk about what is life in HD all about. You're going to hear her story. You're going to hear the reality of it. You're also going to hear the pains, the challenges, but more importantly, the excellence and the fulfillment that the journey took this amazing person on. Natalia, great to have you. This is a debut show, and you got to feel like jumping up and down, right?
I do feel like jumping up and down. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat, for just that introduction. I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl that you're talking about. She sounds amazing.
Yeah. And I was doing a little bit more research on you, and I came across an article that in the news in Canada that came out about what you're doing. And it's so exciting to see that. So I want to talk about this thing that pops up in life. We start to think that something's off. Now, usually it's a teacher that tells you something's off, or it's a parent that says there's something wrong with you. But when did you start thinking that something was off?
Yes. So I grew up in a family where I was always praised for being special. My parents always thought I was amazing. Natalia can do anything. Whatever she puts her mind to, she does it. So at home, I felt that I was invincible and I was incredible. My siblings look up to me, and even the way my parents were, it felt safe and it was normal. Even though from the outside, other people would be like, that was chaos. To me, it was just regular life. It was when I would go to school or someone else's house or be in settings outside of my home that I would hear she's too much. She doesn't stop talking. She doesn't stop moving. Where do we turn Natalia off? Where's the off switch for this kid? Or does she have a volume control? Oh my goodness. I once heard someone said, oh, I wish I could deflate you and put you away for just a few hours. You're too much. And I grew up hearing this, and even in school. But I was also raised as an army brat. My dad was in the military. So I was never in the same place long enough for a teacher or an instructor to notice a pattern of that there might be something else. So most of the behavior that I knew was off, it was excused because of, well, she's moving around. She's the new girl. Every 2 years, I was the new girl. Every 2 years, I need to make new friends. So I knew I I was special, and there was things that I was struggling with, but they were excused with my lifestyle and the lifestyle of my family. It wasn't until I became an adult, then I started to realize, okay, now I'm in the same one place. I'm not moving. I got married, I was 19 years old, and I'm starting to become an adult. And I'm starting to struggle with domestic things, small things, like cleaning the kitchen, or even just being regular at self-care, taking showers, things like that, that I would see every other person being very on top of life, and sort of like everybody had this script of how to be an adult. And I was winging it. I was improvising the whole thing all the time. So it felt like I was an actor. And so, as you could imagine, a play is exciting, and you're acting, and you and I are really good at improvising. But imagine not having a break, not being able to step out from the stage, always being on. And then that's when I started to really decline in my mental health, and I started to struggle with anxiety, and I struggled with depression. And there was this sense of, I'm trying really hard. I was trying the hardest to be on time with my appointments, to take care of my house, to do well in school. And I was trying and trying and failing and failing. And from the outside, it looked as if I was lazy, or I was just not trying hard enough. And people will tell me, maybe if you had a schedule, maybe if you had a routine, have you tried writing it down? Have you tried keeping a journal? Have you ever been told any of these things?
I'm telling you that this is the thing right here. This is the thing that I want to just hold on to for a minute, because with this level of confusion, not by you, but people trying to provide a solution, right, to the wrong situation. And, you know, it's so interesting. It's like my mom taught me a long time ago. She said, I don't know who in the world said when you get a burn, you put butter on it. No, you get a burn, you put ice on it, because you put butter on it, that's just going to make that thing crazy. But, you know, it's the same idea when people think they can help you. It's not because they don't mean well, they don't get it.
Yes.
And, you know, most of us have, they don't get it syndrome.
Exactly. That's actually, I would like to bring up an illustration.
Sure.
When you go to the eye doctor, and they put you this huge E, and they tell you, can you see the letter? And then they start putting that cool machine with all the lenses, and they tell you, okay, is it blurry? Is it clear? And then it's 1 or 2 better. And you know, that whole process of figuring out the right lens until you get to a place where, like, oh my goodness, I can see the smallest line, and it's clear and it's perfect. I feel that many of us have lived a life with short-sightedness or blurry vision, and we've assumed that that's how everybody sees the world. And so if everybody would see clear, and I say, if you make a list or you keep a routine, well, yes, it would work for everybody. But if you see blurry and you say to someone, just try harder to see that E, and you're like, I am trying my hardest to see that E, and you're like, I think you need to try harder. I think the big thing, and this is why I called it HD, like high definition, is the sense of we all have different ways of viewing the world, and we need to step out and almost realize, you know what, maybe this thing that you're telling me to do works for you, but it's not making sense to me. It's not working for me.
I love this story because I want to talk to what happens when we get misdeed. I call it misdeed for misdiagnosed. And, sometimes in life, like you're doing, you're spreading a message that says, I'm telling you my story, but I don't have to be my past. But what was it for you? When did you all of a sudden, oh, it's getting clearer now? Like that's a song. Like I don't know,
Yes.
Stefan, what's that song? But you understand, it's all of us, it's like I can see clearly now. So what was that tipping point, that turning point for you? Because if you didn't have one, you wouldn't be here now.
Exactly. I think we all have those moments in our lives where it's almost like the climactic part of the story where you're going to have to make a decision of what path you're going to take. Mine started when, for some reason, in my head, I thought, you know what? Maybe if I have kids, this is gonna get me organized. I had this like really weird conception of like, I see all these parents with children being so routine and well organized. Maybe what I need is to be forced to do this. So I start having kids, and I had 3 children because I figured maybe more is gonna make me even more organized. Spoiler alert, that it does not make you more organized. And so it was when my children started to go to school and they started to struggle. And I started to see myself in how they were, how they were starting to feel that they were less than or deficient in certain things, or that like they started to have anxiety and they were little. It was watching them that I said, okay, I think I need to change what I'm doing, because this is not just me now. This is 3 kids that I love more than anything. And so I started to almost pursue figuring out how to help them. And it was through helping them and getting support. Like I went to the doctors and they recommended therapy for the children. So I was like, maybe I need therapy for myself too. Then they recommended a coaching program for parenting so that they would teach me how to navigate having children with neurodivergencies. And it was doing this coaching that I realized, wait a second, I am the neurodivergent person here. I need to be parented first. And so when I started to implement all of these changes that they were telling me to help my children with, but in my own life, that's when I realized, okay, there is something about the way I'm wired, the way my brain is going.
Yeah.
And I had been diagnosed with depression, chronic depression, which when you have the chronic is like, there's nothing you can do. This is it. And generalized anxiety. And I'm a 30-year-old, and this is your life. You're a chronic depressed person. I felt like, oh my goodness, okay, this is just the way my life is. This is my blurry version of view.
Yeah.
It's always going to be like this. There's nothing I can do about it. And then I asked my therapist, could it be that I have ADHD? And I had been seeing this therapist for a while now. And she always would tell me, you're the most amazing person. And I'll be like, not yet. Like, I'm not trusting you. I'm not paying you to say that to me. But it was her that said, you know what, the only way is to get a formal diagnosis. And I did the whole test. And when the results came back, and I was diagnosed with mild ADHD. And the reason why they put that mild there was because he said, the psychiatrist that did the test, he said, you have over the years developed so many coping mechanisms that has allowed you to almost manage the ADHD that you have. Yeah. But the parts that are causing you to struggle, he's like, I think with proper coaching and medication, you could probably just, like get over it. And that was like, oh my goodness, I'm not making it up.
I know.
It was not,
But you see, this is what happens sometimes to us. And then we discover our own things. I discovered my situation by reflecting upon the teachers that got me and, helped me understand what I could be. I got it from my bosses. I would get these phenomenal performance reviews, but yet they'd write a comment where they say, we think she's from another planet. Okay. So let's talk about what social media did and how you really decided to really come out, bring this out, learn more through what most people think is, really, did you learn it from TikTok? Yeah, right?
Yes. Like many adults during the pandemic, I became addicted to TikTok. And I mean, TikTok is practically designed for the ADHD brain. Is that fast? This is the sounds, is the funny, is the music, is just 15-second clip of a song. It's not the whole song. It's just your attention is practically fed. It's like it's like you got hooked. And I find it interesting that it's called TikTok because I literally lose time when I'm on it. It's like the time doesn't exist. And then it's 3 hours later, I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't even changed position. And the way the algorithm works is the more you watch something, the more it'll feed it to you. And it got to a place during the pandemic where all my TikToks were autism and ADHD and neurodivergency. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I started to see myself in all of these people. People doing very funny videos of situations that they encountered as ADHD, an ADHD trait. And I was like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh my gosh, that's me. And for years, I thought some selfishly also that I'm very unique. This is like my struggle is just for myself. And the more I watched TikTok, I was like, I don't think I've ever had one single experience that is unique to myself.
Exactly.
There is always someone that has lived through what I'm living through. So I found a lot of people that had the same lens that I had, and they were seeing life the same way. And then I also found community in Twitter. And there's this beautiful hashtag that you could go to. It's called Ask ADHD. And I opened an account in March 2022. And I put Ask ADHD, like the hashtag, and I said, I need help figuring out what kind of medication I need. And within 3 months, I had 1,500 followers.
Yeah.
And I had built a community of people that we were talking to each other on WhatsApp. We were calling each other. We were actually seeing each other, people from England, people from the United States. I am in Canada. So I found a support group of people that had already gone through it. Some of them had been diagnosed as children. Most of us had been late diagnosed. And so some would be, listen, I tried this medication, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But I've heard that if you do this, and I found any question I had, there is always an ADHD person that is willing to give you all of their support and help.
Yeah, because isn't that because for so much and for so long, you wanted to stay invisible because the only other option was that there's something wrong with you. See, but now we're living in a world where you take this information and feedback, and for you in particular, you go from survival mode to purpose mode. And see, let's talk about that, because besides the information, you had to decide what to do, what action to take. And so you began a coaching journey with the most incredible Gabriella Mbon and the Coaching Academy. What was that like for you?
Yes. So I started my ADHD journey, and I think you relate to this a lot, is once you figure out something about you that is like this new vision, you want to share it with everybody. You want to tell everybody like, oh, when I fidget with this, would you like to fidget with? Like, you want to share everything that you, it's like, I got excited about, oh, there, I figured something about my mind. I want to share it with the world. And I was seeing my friends that the things they struggled with, and I would be like, have you tried watching this video? Or yes, I would give them suggestions of like techniques and things that I had done that didn't sound condescending, like, have you written a list? You know, it was more like, hey, did you want me to come over and help you reorganize the way your kitchen is set up? And they would be like, yes, thank you. Or they would be like, I struggle cleaning my house. I'd be like, you want me to come over and help you like figure out a plan on how to clean your house? And the moment I would say that, they would get so excited about cleaning out the house. They're like, why didn't I always feel excited about cleaning my house? I'm like, because it takes someone else to do that. And it was me helping friends and family members that one time a doctor, I ended up talking to her about her child that had ADHD, and I'm like giving her all these things. It was my consult for myself, and I ended up giving her a whole coaching class. And then she said, do you know that there are people that get paid to do this, what you're doing? And I was like, what? So I went online and I found Gabriela Enbone that has the coaching academy.net. And it was that part of the puzzle that was missing.
Yeah.
It's like, I found this other lens that made it super clear. The way that Gabriela teaches you and certifies you to be a coach is by coaching you first. And so she coached me and she walked me through this path of figuring out my purpose, what gives my life meaning, what's my unique giftedness. And by the end, it was just so clear. And now I also have a certification, and now I can legitimately help other people. And at the same time, will get paid for the time that I'm spending and doing this for others.
Yeah. And see, but this is part of one story, and we're going to continue with each episode we do, because, you know, people that have looked at us or watched us, you know, there have been some people extremely supportive. I know how supportive Canada has been for your taking this on. For me, it was finding people in the workplace that understood that I was different but less than. And we're not all the same. See, everybody thinks if you say ADHD or you say I'm on the spectrum, they put you all in one box, and that's far from it.
Yes.
That's far from it. So you decided to do this. Now you've created your own coaching platform. Tell us about that and where you're going. What's your vision for it?
Yes. So life coaching, the way I view it is like, you tell me I want to climb the Mount Everest. And then I tell you, okay, let's make a plan. We're going to climb Mount Everest. Let's see. First, are you physically able to climb Mount Everest? So I would send you to a doctor to check physically if if you're coming with a busted knee or some limitation, I would be like, okay, now we need to adapt how to climb Mount Everest according to your limitation. So first, the way I view it is that therapy, or like a spiritual kind of health and mental health that deals with the past, needs to be addressed before you start on a journey of walking alongside a life coach.
Yeah.
So I work perfectly in tandem with a therapist or a psychologist. And then once we figured out that, like, okay, you're okay, you're physically, you could climb, you could do these things, then I start to figure out, why did you want to climb this mountain? and then, okay, if you want to do this and we understand the purpose, let's figure out how would that work for yourself. So as a life coach, what I do is figure out okay, you're having these issues and these obstacles and you're feeling stuck in certain areas. Let's figure out the why. Let's see if we need to do some work about your past traumas and fears or systems of beliefs. And then let's see how we can create a plan that works specifically to you. That is not just writing a list, but is figuring out what kind of list do you need to write down? What kind of equipment do you need? And then how much does it cost to get into an airplane ticket to go all the way to the Himalayas, you know?
But this is really now, I mean, in the upcoming shows, you're really going to take this on. You know, you're going to be talking about, you know, what you've learned along the way. We're going to talk about the brain, how it's wired, but all of these things. I mean, you'd have laughed hilariously watching me teach Linda, who is so detailed, me not, how to do an edit that she's helping me do in our new design. And, you know, I'm trying to explain it my way. So what do? I draw a flow chart. Oh my God.
Yes.
So not Linda's way to learn. And but I didn't know how else to explain it. So in the upcoming shows, give us a sneak peek about what you're going to talk about.
So first, we're going to talk about the many brains and how they are wired. And this whole thing about the spectrum, ADHD, but sometimes we talk about autism and ADHD, but there's bipolar disorder, there's OCD. There's just so many things in the brain. So we'll explore more about how brains are wired differently and how you could figure out what kind of brain you have. Then we'll talk about creating your brain toolbox. That's what I call the brain toolbox. So how did you develop specific tools that are for your kind of brain? We'll talk about habits and rituals. A lot of people struggle with doing routines and creating habits. And so it's not that they can't do it, it's just that their approach is not proper. So we'll talk about how to create proper action plans. We'll talk about community, finding your tribe, creating boundaries, which is super important. And then we'll talk about the positive side of having what they consider a disorder, but how can you embrace your uniqueness and your brain and start to see your life as not failures, but learning moments? Everything that you've gone through is a learning moment that will take you further down the path if you start looking at it as a good thing, you know? So about a lot about the way we shift our mindset. And that's it. It's not about fixing you. It's about finding you. Yeah. It's about going from blurry to high definition.
Yeah. It's about seeing that big E on that vision chart. Look, thank you so much for today. And I know what it takes to share our stories. It does take courage. And thank you for doing it. What's the best way for people to find out more about you?
Yes, they can reach me on my website at natalialifecoach.com. Or they can find me on social media. I'm usually at Natalia ADHD on Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, but you know, thanks to those communities, there are some of us that really sought out help. And what we found is we're not alone. And for so much of our lives, we think we are. Natalia, thank you so much for today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Natalia will be back. We've got lots to talk about, Stefan. Thank you. For those of you out there, please check this out. Whether it addresses what you need or not, pass it on, because no longer are we willing to stand in the shadows, to hide in the closets. This is really a time for us to support each other on that journey to come out and realize how absolutely amazing we are. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for spending time with me on Life in HD. I'm Natalia. Tune in every third Monday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. If today's episode resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear this at natalialifecoach.com. Remember, clarity, growth, and success look different for everyone. Keep embracing who you are, and I'll see you next time.